I read texts from significant others and she thinks I'm being too sensitive. Who are you sorry about the other night? I would have kept going, but the way you looked made me stop. When I asked her, what else should I think about? She said they were painting. After an hour, they got really angry out of the blue. I still can't get over the fact that she cheated on me 5 years ago. I just can't forgive her. I saw the warning signs after her affair, so I think she knows she shouldn't act that way. That makes it clear. Am I responding too much? I know I wasn't being too sensitive when she cheated on me 5 years ago. It was always my thought that she was. Back then, I didn't notice the red flags like how she always left early and came home late, how her phone had a lock screen when mine didn't, and how she shaved. You understand. It was crazy how quickly she would get mad at me for small things and hit me. The songs she always played and the words to them. She's on Facebook a lot, but she's not my friend on it. I want to tell you that these things were not seen because we had a baby. I had no idea she would hurt me in this way. I don't like being walked on, so I tell her she's lying. I have no idea why I asked if I was lying. After he asked her if she was pregnant, I saw the texts. I have lost my way and don't know what to do. I don't know. Maybe I left, and she's now living with the guy she told me not to worry about. I'm pretty much okay with it. She's already done a lot of damage. I have no idea how long it will take to find someone. Fuck her. Let's see what people in the neighborhood think. Lone Wolf 369963 states, she cheated on you 5 years ago. You aren't over it. There are many red flags after her affair. Now the suspicious messages. Why are you doing this to yourself? Why don't you just move on from her, as she's clearly not going to change anytime soon? Painting sounds like BS to me, says Yellow Bastard 37. I learned some new information about ex's partner's affair that happened in 2018. Since she never replied, I chose to get in touch with her best partner. Some things I learned are shown below. She knows him from 2012, the year we began dating. On the phone when I wasn't there, they would joke around and talk for hours. They would laugh about it. Even though all he wanted was sex with her, she wouldn't leave him alone. He said they had sex before she went home a few times. I told her to have sex with me so I wouldn't think anything was wrong. Because she was out for hours, they thought she might be pregnant. If she was, she would tell me I got her pregnant, so we didn't really have sex that year. As I cleaned up the room twice in 2018, I found 2 pregnancy tests. She met his parents and son when he took her to his house. She even called him her son-in-law. The weekend she went away with her cousin Alice, and that was the night he was meant to meet my daughter. That's when Alice came to get her. He's from the same town as me, stupid. Even when we were dating, she never sent me anything naked, but she sent him that. My ex's boyfriend told me that the first time they slept together, he took her pants off and got mad when she didn't let him. She was afraid of what he would do, so she let him take it off. Then it happened. After a minute, she said she felt bad about it. What hurts the most is that they've known each other since the year I started dating her. In the event that it was a one-night stand, I would likely be over it. However, she chose to have an affair. She slept with him more than once and met his family, including his son. I'm not even sure if she wanted to be with me. I remember things she never told me, did for me, or was with me that were in their texts. It was crazy how many hickeys they gave each other. In her texts and the picture we took of her, her baby, and me, she looked so happy. In them she looked sad or angry. However, she always had her hair in a bun and a smile on her face when she took selfies, where she let her hair down. It was a selfie she sent him. I'm so sad and upset. I don't think she loved me at all. For those who had VSID paternity tests, the answer is yes. My daughter is 100% mine. She didn't start having an affair until our daughter was 5 months old. Because her baby was so young at the time, I didn't notice the warning signs. I didn't think she would sleep with someone else. She dated the guy before she met me, but they didn't start having sex until 2017. In July 2017, we had a girl. In December of that year, they began going out together. It was over a year before I found out in November 2018. The last few posts I made were all about the same person. That should have been clear in the first post about the cheating. I read more about him in their texts, and the post about the picture kept going. But the look on her face stopped him. When they had their first sex. 5 years ago, I wrote a lot of posts about the same person. I took care of my daughter. I was in the hospital room when she was born, and have been there ever since. As the father and mother, I didn't get to see my daughter, and she wanted to be a part of her life. What she did was wrong. Let's hear more from the community. Chuck and Riley state, the K here is that she is the ex. Well, I'm sure it hurts. You clearly are better off without someone like that in your life. Try to move past it because she doesn't deserve to remain in your thoughts. Bite Me 717 states, I seriously want your kids tested to make sure that they are yours. Celebrate that she's gone, and you can start living your life. She isn't a good person and is trashy. Be glad she's your ex. Wonder Typical 9962 wants to express, you have to know that she really has mental disorders. It hurts big time, but you're out of the mess. Imagine if you had a house and all that went with it, 3 kids, etc., and you lost everything in the divorce. If your partner stated he was with her for the sex, did he drop her? Dop replies, he didn't drop her since our daughter was just 5 months old at the time. I wasn't suspicious of her doing anything like that, sleeping with someone else. The affair was for a whole year. I found out myself, just needed closure. I spent hard memories, just hit harder this time. I'm sorry, OP, that's brutal. They were definitely painting with more than just brushes. You experienced a whole whirlwind of emotions, and that's totally natural. I'm just wondering how you managed to stay together after she cheated on you the first time, OP. I think it would definitely be easier to sniff out a second instance of infidelity after the first, but the pain of a trail after thinking you've rebuilt something that was lost is killer. I think pain like this doesn't just go away, and it's normal for it to come back and flood us with emotions. It's a way of mourning and processing. I'm not sure the pain of experiences like this ever really goes away. We just learned how to deal with it. It's okay to keep talking about it, and it's okay to still process things as long as you're moving forward. What are your thoughts? Next up, an OP left completely shaken up, caught wife cheating, and was wondering thoughts. This will be a long story, so sorry, I'll try and keep it as brief as it can be. We've been together for over 21 years now, and been married for 17 years. We have 3 kids together. I've always trusted my wife, and I've been confident that when she was getting together with guy friends or co-workers, that nothing was going on. She has started going out after work randomly with an ex-boss male who would drive an hour from his place of work to meet her at her place of work or nearby. I was told that they would go for a run and then dinner and drinks. Mind you, this was probably taking place around 2016-ish. This didn't bother me at all, as I trusted her. One day, however, I got an anonymous message on Facebook, created from a fake account that basically was stating that they've seen my wife with another guy several times and didn't know how to approach me about it, but wanted to alert me to it. They made mention about seeing them on trails and at a restaurant, and made comments about how they had thought about going to my sister. I somehow convinced myself that this message was fake and from a bot, per se. Soon I've tried to talk with my wife about how this guy must have other motives if he's driving an hour after work to run 4 miles with her and avoiding going home to be with his own wife and kids, which were still an hour from where they were running. My wife told me that she squashed this connection after our conversation. Fast forward to 2020. My wife was out with a different ex-boss, again male. When she comes home, she tells me about this night and how he was connecting with a different girl at the bar and ended up doing some things with this girl at the end of the night and sending some pics to my wife. Her telling me this got me to start looking at her messages whenever she would be away from her phone. She had always told me that she deleted old text messages, which is another red flag. So the messages that I would look at would always be a bit fragmented. Anyways, this guy would send my wife pics and videos of him having sex with other girls. So this kept me on high alert and constantly wanting to look at her messages. One morning during the winter of 2021, we were away on a family vacation. I found myself glancing at my wife's phone while she was away from it. I caught a texting conversation between her and a female friend that spoke of a guy that my wife was seeing. The feeling that came over me was unexplainable. I'd convinced myself that nothing was going on with things in the past, but now reality was setting in. As I continued to catch fragments of conversations, I learned that my wife was going out with this girlfriend, and they would then meet up with some guys later in the night. To make matters worse, the guy that my wife was connecting with was a friend of hers in town. I start to see that her and this guy are using other apps to communicate, so I try and monitor those conversations, but she's fairly quick to delete these messages. I would even see her texting him while laying next to me in bed while she probably thought I was sleeping. I would see their good morning messages as well. It became a lot. To make matters worse, we were getting work done in our house, and it came to find out that my wife also had conversations in these other apps with the contractor, as she either was or was trying to get together with him. While all this is going on, and again, I'm catching fragments and conversations due to the deleting that's going on, I also caught a text from what was her current boss then, and he makes mention of hooking up together tomorrow. Write this out. The more I'm feeling extremely stupid and like a chump. Anyways, with all this going on, I reach out to the guy in town's wife via text, as I wanted to get her on my side and make her aware. This backfired on me, as she thought that my text to her was a fake, and showed her husband. He then reached out to my wife, who then came driving home crying to me. We then discussed some of what I mentioned here. I told her to break things off with these guys, and she has told me that she did. During a few months of me trying to find out what was going on while watching her texts when I could, I went from being a very confident and happy male to being someone who can't get this stuff out of his head and can't even explain the way I feel about all this. My wife and I have had a couple of conversations over the past couple of years since this has all transpired to help with what goes on in my head, but it is still very tough on me. It is 2023, in 2 years since this all came to a head. I never thought to reach out to this community beforehand, but I'm wondering what people might tell me. What advice would you give to me in trying to work through this and save our family? Thank you all. Asking for advice, let's see what the community says. You can't save your family from this, says Mysterious Stranger 23. For years your wife has been cheating on you. You're not ready to deal with the truth. You will only feel pain and suffering if you stay with her. You're trying to save something that doesn't exist, says Dragon Master 97. Over time, this will only make your pain worse and happen more often. Going to treatment for yourself is the best thing you can do. You need to find a way to deal with the fact that your wife betrayed you. You will have a better idea of what to do next after you have thought that through. There is a very small chance that your wife will stop cheating since she does it all the time. A repeat cheater usually needs something very bad to happen to them in order to want to change. If that doesn't happen, they won't change. The saddest part is that she doesn't value you as much now that you know she cheated on you with other people, even though you are still trying to fix your relationship. That's just how cheating works. It says on Uncomfortable Bike 975, DNA test for the kids, lawyer, not always that order, and STD test 2 says add 9225. People who cheat give those out like Halloween candy. What a stupid name. Zero wants to say, yes, she cheats all the time and has for a long time. It's hers whenever she can get it. She has a friend who works with them to cheat on her and encourages her to do it. Now is the time to test those kids and talk to a lawyer. Because you let her, you feel like a chump. It's not true that she's crying and saying she'll end the relationship. Repeatedly cheating is a bad trait. You can't trust your wife until she is. She won't change until she is. You'll always be a chump as long as you're with her. I'm sorry, but this is the truth. You might as well let her sleep with other people if you want to stay married. That way you can end the marriage and get your own too, if that's how you feel. While I personally would never be in an open relationship, you've been married for a long time and she just didn't tell you about it. Quiet up, lawyer up, says a guy in town. Find out how the law will treat you where you are, then make plans to spend time apart. You will never trust her again. You will only believe what she says if a third person confirms it. Keep going, and your kids will grow up in a dangerous home. You will hate her more over time if you stay. I think you should wait to speak up until you're ready. She will freak out if you tell her sooner. She'll say no. She will play it down. She's going to say sorry and promise to change. In short, she'll lose it and lie without any shame. You will never believe her, even if she changes. It's completely normal and understandable how you feel. It will be hard to trust your wife again, and I think that you and your wife need to talk to each other all the time if you both want to work on this. Therapy is a great place to start.